First of all, I'd like to apologize for the randomness and the awkward noises that you're gonna hear because we are getting our windows changed and the dudes are upstairs right now, so noise and random space because they actually have to access the window, so I had to move pretty much everything. But I didn't want to skip 2 videos in a row, so let's make do of this. So today, apologies for not wearing Lolita. I could not get to my petticoats at the moment, but I am going to continue with the Lolita 52 challenge. Today with trend-themed questions. So the first question is trends I thought I would never get into, but now I love. And wigs is the first thing, because when I started Lolita I had red hair. Bright neon kind of red hair and not the subtle brownish red, but still it was okay to wear with Lolita, especially because I wore a lot of red and gothic and stuff, drilling. So I didn't really think wigs were necessary for me and I thought they looked a bit costumey, but since I started dyeing my red, purple and blue and all kinds of interesting colors that didn't quite match so well with Lolita, I started with a couple of wigs, like 2 wigs, and now I buy more and more and more, and I really love them. So wigs would definitely be one, and I think that the other, I don't know if it qualifies as a trend, but when I started I really did not like JSKs. I thought that one pieces and skirts were the thing for me. I didn't like the strappy look, and with the blouse I thought that it looked awkward. So in the beginning I only had skirts, but then for some reason when I ordered from Bodyline I also got a JSK, even though I thought it looked stupid, but it was cheap, so why not? I don't know what my thought process there was, but I ended up liking JSKs, and even though I was wearing mostly skirts for almost 2 years, I have now, well, I still have more skirts than I do have JSKs, but I like JSKs and I wear them more and more, although I still love skirts. But JSKs is the one, I don't know if it qualifies as a trend, but something that I didn't like and now I love. And the next question is trends I thought I loved, but now I'm not too keen on. And again, in my very early days, I really loved music-themed prints, like notes and words and stuff like that. And I needed to have one, but luckily I couldn't get one, because now I don't really like them, because mostly they are a bit more sweet than they are, for example, classic or gothic, though there are some exceptions. But I somehow just really do not like those anymore. I mean, some of them look okay, but nah, I'm not too fond of those anymore. And the other one would be Renaissance painting prints, like most of what Juliette et Justine does, and some, I think, Dark Box at least makes those. And at first I was like, those are so awesome, but now I'm like, no faces on my dress, thank you. Like, I really used to love those because they look so elegant and so artsy, but now I almost bought a skirt that had like a lady's face in here, and it had apples, and it was, the base was black, so it was a really gothic print. But then when I thought about having a lady's face close to my crotch, I was like, no, no, let's not have that. So even though they still look pretty, I just don't think they are for me personally. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with those two. Both are print things, now that I think of it. And this wasn't the question, but I'm gonna add it anyways because I feel like, and I think it's trend themed, and that is trends that I don't think I would ever participate in. And I would like to mention that I do not like like scepters and wands and like really big hand props, and the other is the sashes because they are very beauty queen to me. So I mean, they look pretty in photos and in runway shows, but I could never see myself wearing a sash and a scepter and going to the grocery store like, yay! But then again, I never thought that I would go to the grocery store wearing a wig. And that's what I do now, occasionally. So, and I don't think it's weird at all. I can be in full Lolita clothes and have a big curly wig and just go to the store and buy groceries. But so I might change my opinion, but I think that the most proppy, costumey looking things I don't really like, especially in, you know, normal daily wear, but they look pretty in fashion shows. So next is 3 trends that I wish would come back, and because I'm still relatively new to Lolita, I started in 2013, like January-ish, so it's a good way to count my time as a Lolita. So relatively speaking, for those who have been like 10 or 15 years into Lolita, I am still quite new, and I've never really followed trends. Like in the past 6 months I've discovered Lolita in Tumblr, and I don't follow that many blogs, and I'm not a part of EGL, so I don't really follow that trends that much, but I came up with 2, and the first is mini hats, because I love mini hats and I think it's sad they are a bit of an Ida staple nowadays. I mean, I admit that some of the mini hats that I bought and wore in my early Lolita days I would not wear anymore, but I think that mini hats can be beautiful and tasteful and cute and gorgeous, so I wish those would come back. And the second is the old school fat-soled Lolita shoes, especially in Gothic Lolita. I think they are just mwah. They're so beautiful, and they also have a bit of an Ida stamp on them right now. Some people pull those off and they look amazing, but I think it would be nice if they were a bit more widely accepted as a part of Lolita fashion, because they used to be. They used to be, and I think they look cool. And the next question is what I adore but is not my personal style, and that would have to be OPs, one pieces, because even though I just said that in my early Lolita days I thought that I would love OPs, but turns out I don't. I own 2, and it's a bit hard to find one pieces that fit my shoulders because they are a bit wide, at least for my relative size. Otherwise that sounded weird, but I have a bit of wide shoulders, so most OPs don't fit me. Single tier, but I have one with shirring and one I had custom made for me, and both I use very rarely, like once or twice a year, because I don't know, I'm a layer person. Like even in my normal clothes I always wear a tank top and a t-shirt and then maybe a fancy shirt and then a hoodie, and I layer. So the thought of wearing a tank top and a dress and nothing else, I mean bra, but nothing else, is just confusing. And I feel like I need to have something under it, but I can't have, because sleeves under sleeves don't really work, because I have my mini dress has princess sleeves and the other has long sleeves, so I can't put a blouse under there. And I can't even put a cardigan over it or a bolero over it, so I'm just not enough layers. So I just don't wear those, but they look awesome, and I own 2 and I love both of them, but I don't wear them. And the other thing would be Shira Lolita or white Lolita, because I am more prone to dark colors, as you may see, but I still love the look of all white, especially I know that this goes a bit more on the costumey side if it has shiranuri makeup, like white face and all kinds of long lashes and weird thingies painted on your face. But anyway, even with normal makeup and normal hair, white Lolita, Shira Lolita looks adorable. It's just, it's angelic, and sometimes it can look a bit bright-ish, but mostly it's just pretty and cute, but I could never pull it off. I would feel weird. I think that in all white I would even feel weirder than if I had like pastel pinks and mints, which also sounds like a very odd idea, but I think that all white would be very uncomfortable for me personally, but it looks just amazing. And lastly, predict future trends. So I think that we're going to see even more and more weirder and bigger and unorthodox hair accessories, because, well, even now you can pretty much plump anything you want on your head and it's perfectly okay. But I think that we're going to see even weirder ones, especially from brands. And speaking of brands, I think that we're going to see a lot more different cuts and fabrics and shorter lengths on skirts and dresses. And I've noticed that Baby has a bit shied away from the basic cotton and has used a lot of this thinner, shinier fabric, which I personally don't like. I prefer my skirts and dresses to be a bit more thicker fabric, especially here in Finland when it's cold. But I think they look pretty, but I think that we're going to see even more and more of different fabrics used, and maybe even different colors. I don't know. I think weirder and weirder things in general, but I also think that, well, it's November now, so that maybe in 2016, like maybe towards the end of the year, we're going to see a bit more of, because now OTT is a really big thing, so I think people will be slowly be fed up with it and return to the more mature and toned down and natural looks, and instead of having massive wigs and 20 hair accessories and sorry shield, and you know, being very big and having 20 petticoats, even though I love fitting all the petticoats that the skirt can handle. I think we're going to see a bit more of a return to more toned down Lolita, because that's how it works in normal fashion. First you have this big thing and then you go to the other end of the spectrum and back again. So I think that maybe in next year, like towards the end of the year, we can see a bit more of a turn back to the not so over the top Lolita. But anyways, those were the trend theme questions of the Lolita 52 challenge. And it is now Tuesday and the window dudes aren't here yet. And I don't know if they're gonna come here tomorrow or Wednesday or Friday or next week. So I don't know what next week's video will be, but I will make one. I'm waiting on a skirt, so maybe an unboxing, but unfortunately I can't finish the skirt tutorial. I mean, I've cut the pieces, I've shirred the pieces because it's a tiered skirt, so all I would have to do is sew them together, but I can't. Let me show you. That's my sewing table, that's my couch, and that's my wardrobe. So it's, yeah, like this. So I've emptied out this closet too, but we haven't moved it yet because I don't know if it has to be moved, if they can fit through the door, because the door won't open all the way up. But anyway, I probably can't make a normal video for next week, but I will make some kind of video, even if it's just a talky one like this one. But I will see you again next week, and I apologize for the randomness of this video and the place and the sound, but I will see you again next Wednesday.